And once more, we're back, guys. Welcome, or if you've already been to my channel before, welcome back. I am the Philadelphia Whovian, and yes, friends, once more, I'm stepping away from my normal subject matter to discuss that thing called Star Trek, the original series. Now, if you've not watched any of the other parts to these series of videos, I believe we're now on part 5 of the ranking of the original Star Trek episodes. So if you want to backtrack and go see the first 4 parts of these videos, be my guest, because right now, guys, we're going from number 40 down to number 31 of the ranking of the episodes when it came to the original series. Now, guys, even if though we're at 40 to 31, I make no mistake, and I mean make no mistake, all the stories in this section of the videos are very good stories. The thing of the original Star Trek is if you like Star Trek, the original series, like I do, there's actually more excellent episodes in it, or episodes that even without a good budget still are good stories, as opposed to just being flat out bad stories. There was more good writing in the original series than bad writing if you like the original series. So we're at number 40, yeah, but the stories are pretty damn excellent still. And also, another disclaimer, guys, I have very strange taste. So things that you guys are not going to like, I do. That's just what it is. Each to his own. So starting at number 40, we are now at The Turnabout Intruder. It's the last episode of the show from season 3. Okay, The Turnabout Intruder is this. It starts out with Kirk going to see a woman from his past who he used to be in love with. They were used to date, and she's on an expedition where she's one of the few survivors on the expedition of her unit. And we find out very quickly they had a very turbulent relationship, but we also discover she found out in a way to swap their bodies. So when she was pretending like she was dying and had gone to, arrange for him to come and see her, oh no. She found a way to have their bodies be completely switched. So she is in his body, he's in her body. Why? Because she always despised him because the Federation would only allow men to be, at this point, to be leaders or to be captains on Federation vessels, not women. And she hated him forever, all because he was born a man and therefore was given more chances to be a captain on a Federation starship, and she was not. And this turned to jealousy, and it gets even worse. Not only did she swap bodies with him, but she even tried to kill him. So she's in Kirk's body. So Captain Kirk is a woman in a man's body, looking down at herself, or looking at Kirk inside her body. And God, this is confusing, sorry. So she, when in Kirk's body, tries to kill her own self to kill Captain Kirk and to be captain of the Enterprise, but it turns out she's done a lot more than that. She is a disgusting murderer. She allowed her entire crew to die just to get Captain Kirk there. She is completely batshit insane. But what makes this an amazing story is the idea of letting something offend you or get to you so much you became worse, way worse than the thing that you are attacking, taking it out on the wrong person, as she took it out on Captain Kirk. It's not his fault. He did not make the rules to the Federation, but she blamed him for that, was about to kill him, killed innocent people to get what she wanted for this whole mastermind of a plan, and she is evil. At the same time, this is what happens when people are not treated equally. They end up treating people unequally who did not deserve it. But the main crux of this is William Shatner. He gave a phenomenal performance. This is, by far, William Shatner's probably best performance in the original show, where he's playing her as him. No, seriously, go and watch The Turnabout Intruder for William Shatner. He is remarkable in this performance. I stand by my assessment. Now, number 39, from the second season, Return to Tomorrow. Okay, Kirk, Spock, and a woman. She's a female crew member. She's a lovely actress. She even appeared, I believe, again in the third season, and she also appeared in The Next Generation. Very lovely actress. Yes. And they allow these 3 alien entities to occupy their bodies so these entities can make robotic or make android versions of themselves, because they spent their for many centuries in these spheres because the rest of their people died out. So they just want to occupy human forms to make androids for themselves and live inside the androids. But it gets more complicated. The entity or the spirit that took over or possessed Spock had no intentions ever of becoming an android, but he just wanted to take over Spock's body. And Leonard Nimoy is giving a stellar performance in this, because he's playing the entity that is actually very dangerous and wanted to take over the Enterprise and kill Spock, Kirk, etc. and so forth. Leonard's giving a great performance in this. And now number 38. From the 3rd season, The Lights of Zetar. Another probably unpopular opinion, but I like it. There is Scotty, who's in love with a woman, you know, very intelligent woman. First time, though, out in space. It's her first time out in space. She gets taken over by these Lights of Zetar that are trying to overtake the Enterprise and have killed other people when it came to other stations. But there's something about this one, and it's about her will to keep them from taking her over, that is actually, to me, actually enjoyable to watch. I like it. I can't explain much why. I just do. Now 37. Yes, number 37. Okay, guys, this is where you guys probably like, how dare it be so high? You know what? I like this story, and I can't change it. From the 3rd season, Plato's Stepchildren. Yeah, I know you want to throw your daggers at me for liking this story, but I do. The way this goes is, there's a planet of telekinetic people who have really closely followed Plato's teachings, but also they've perverted them. See why? Being telekinetic has made them all powerful and abusive, destructive, cold-hearted, and malicious. They walk around in togas or in also Greek attire, and the reason why the Enterprise crew is there is because these people are telekinetic, so they're all powerful, but that leads to them having no medical man there, no doctor. So one of the lead guy there gets a scratch on his leg and it gets infected. So they call the Enterprise to assist them. And up until this, because of their powers, they made sure nobody knew that they were there. So the Enterprise, Kirk, Bones, and Spock go down to a planet initially had readings of there being no one there. And so Bones tends to the person who was scratched, and he is grateful in so far as he orders Spock to stay down on the planet and never leave because they need a doctor. Of course, Kirk and Spock are saying, no, we're not leaving without him, and the head guy uses his telekinesis to overpower them, make them impotent, and to full-on humiliate them to force Bones into agreeing. Okay, people think this is really stupid because of how Kirk and Spock, they get, humiliated, but that's the point. You see, anybody can torture anyone, but the thing that we humans fear the most is public humiliation. And the public humiliation that Kirk and Spock go through, and Bones has to witness, that's painful, but that's the point. And when you see Spock crying because they're forcing Spock to cry and laugh and show emotion, it's devastating. And you see Kirk rolling over and trying to say, Spock, don't let them in. And of course, this is the famous, episode that had the Uhura and the Kirk kiss, where Kirk and Uhura kiss. I'm not apologizing. And also, why I love this story, because of the dwarf actor in this, Alexander. There's a character in this named Alexander played by a dwarf actor. This guy gave a phenomenal performance. He gave an Oscar-winning performance of a dwarf actor well before Warwick Davis and Peter Dinklage were ever around. Stand by it. Number 36. I think a lot of people like this story. All Our Yesterdays. Okay, Kirk, Spock, and Bones go down to a planet to warn them because the planet's now going supernova. But no, there is an object on that planet that allows people to jump into the past and live out their lives in the past, so they don't have to evacuate the planet. They can just go to the planet's history and live out their lives in that part. And Spock, Kirk, and Bones get separated into different parts of history, but they eventually do find their way back. But the devastation that these three men go through when going through these separate parts of time and history of this planet is pretty groundbreakingly fun and incredible, and Spock goes through a character development that is quite hard for a Vulcan to endure, but it's quite fascinating. This is a well-loved story. I think so. I think people will not shame me for putting it, so high on the list. Number 35 from the second season, A Piece of Action. Okay, oh my god. So Kirk and Spock go down to a planet where it turns out the last time the Federation was there, they accidentally left a book behind. I think it was called The Gangs of Chicago. Either way, The Gangs of someplace in America. And the planet treated it like it was their Bible. So when Kirk and Spock go down to this planet, it's like you're in the 1920s America, where gangs literally run the planet. And Kirk and Spock have to become very gang-like. That Cagney, or that, what's the famous gangster I'm thinking about that Robert De Niro played in The Untouchables? Think of The Untouchables, but in Star Trek. There you go. And imagine William Shatner speaking in that accent, and he does a good job with it. He does. And eventually Spock does too, and it's very adorable. They are wonderful together. So it's pretty fun. And I think this is a story that gets a lot of love. So, that's why it's high on the list. It's fun. Number 34. Patterns of Force, another season 2 story. Patterns of Force is where we have Kirk and Spock initially go down to a planet that turns out there was a captain there who ignored the Prime Directive and used the influence of the Nazi era, the Nazi regime, to help this one planet rise out of savagery. But the problem is, it's the Nazi regime. So it went from being this whole, nourishing this planet into using the Nazi regime to help it increase its, or further its society in a way really quickly, to making them a Nazi regime where they are killing off people from another planet because of hate. And Kirk, Spock, along with eventually, Bones and other people, they come, and the crew of the Enterprise come to help and put this planet back on track and keep from killing the other planet that it's supposed to be friendly with. This is another iconic story, and for me personally, guys, you know me, I love a good Kirk and Spock moment. There's a part of this where Kirk and Spock are dressed as Nazis, but eventually they get whipped so their shirts are off as they're being whipped, and they're both half naked. Yes! Okay, sorry. Whew. Okay, now I'm good. Number 33 from the second season again. Journey to Babel. The Enterprise is hosting a peace conference where all these different people from different locations are coming on to establish a peace treaty, including 2 ambassadors, or ambassador and his wife, from Vulcan. It turns out that those are Spock's parents, and it's evident that Spock's father, Sarek, he is not happy that Spock had ever joined the Federation or joined, Starfleet. But eventually something happens where his father is sick and he needs blood from his son, and his son does give the blood, even despite all this trying times, because there's also a conspiracy going on where there is one part of the crew who are killing up other parts of the crew because of the peace conference. A lot of dramas going on, and this is where we meet Spock's parents, and this is iconic for that, and for good reason. Mark Lenard plays Spock's father, and it's pretty damn awesome. Okay, that was now number 32. Controversial opinion, but here I go from season 3. Let that be your last battlefield. I stand by this wonderful story that probably gets so much hate from other people. The plot of this goes is the Enterprise is chasing an escaped vessel. Someone literally stole a Federation vessel and is flying off with it, and then eventually they beam the person aboard before the vessel breaks up and being hit by a meteor or something, and it turns out it's an alien who is half black on one side, half white on the other side. So half its face is black, half its face is white. It turns out he was fleeing because his planet is literally being oppressed by the other half of the planet. And we even see what happens, because he got chased across the universe by another of the people from his planet because of racial purity or impurity. You see, one part of the planet was dominating the other one, trying to enhance their conditions or rule over them, but the other side was rebelling because it's like you treat us like slaves. It's the idea of the slave-master situation. How far is it between you're helping someone versus you're oppressing them? And neither side is actually good. The one side is like, he is the one side who's the oppressive side, he is in all essentials oppressive, but the side that is the escapee is also inconsiderate, doesn't care about who he offends, doesn't care about when he tries to rally people to his cause, that people get killed in the process for a cause that they actually never were a part of. He does leave dead bodies wherever he escapes to, looking for political asylum. But what is the difference between these two entities on this planet? One is black on one side, one is black on the other side. So they're both black and white at the same time. It's just that their faces are black and white on two different sides. That's why there's the oppressed versus the oppressor. This shows an incredible image, or a credible, perspective on racism, where both entities, like the idea of hating someone just because one side of their face is different color than the other side of your face. It's just astounding. It's breathtaking. And it turns out that their planet was actually destroyed because of the constant wars that were happening. It ends tragically, dramatically, but whoa, it hits you in your gut. Now you have up number 31 from the first season, the Corbomite Maneuver. The way this is, there is a major, massive, awesome ship that is going after the Enterprise, and there is a puppet who is used to be the face of the controller of this ship, and it says if they will destroy the Enterprise, make peace with your lord. But Kirk believes in poker, and he says, if you destroy our ship, you see, we have this thing on the outer hull of our ship called Corbomite. And if you destroy our ship, you destroy your own ship in the process because the Corbomite will be released. It's a bluff, and it works. And the tension between the tension between Bones and Kirk here actually works to advantage. But the relationship between Spock and Kirk here is so charming. Kirk, aka William Shatner, every now and again loves to flirt with Spock. We know it. He flirts with Spock. And it's so palpable here. And it turns out, no, that the entity that was attacking them was actually never really attacking them at all. It was all bluff, just to get them to tolerate or to accept him so they could have cultural diffusion. Because he's a massive ship, so clearly he comes from a superior species, but because he's a small little childlike creature, nobody takes him seriously. So by scaring them a bit initially, it showed his power, but it made them both sides willing to learn and become friends with the other. So surprising ending there. The Corbomite Maneuver, I love it. I think a lot of people like it too, so yeah. I think we're all in agreement with that one. So that ends part 5, I believe, of this ranking, and unless I got my numbers wrong. So guys, hope to see you again very soon if I don't. Technical difficulties, guys. Technical difficulties. Guys, you were awesome yet again. Guys, I'll see you again hopefully very, very soon. Bye, guys.